Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another video of the Broad Dilemma. It's a slow start, but this is the second video for the day. Um, we have with us Aashal Dalal. She currently studies at ASU, and I'm going to let her introduce. But this is a very interesting topic, and the question that we are going to be discussing in this video is one that I've heard a lot from, the first generation students, especially coming from India and the US. And then over to you, Ashal. Would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Yes, so I'm currently doing my graduation in construction management at ASU, and I have done my undergraduation in architecture from India, and I have also worked as a junior architect in two project management firms for almost 2 years in India. So working in a project management firm allowed me to also be into estimation, quantity takeoff, scheduling, and doing the bids for the company. So yeah, that's about it.
And then you're currently studying in ASU, right?
Yes, ASU.
Great. So, what is the topic of discussion today here, Ashal?
Yes, so I have been applying to various and numerous companies for an internship over here, but I still haven't been able to get any interviews or any positive response. So, what happens is if the company is even interested or liked my experience or something, then they would be like, oh, sorry, we still have better candidates, or they would be like, sorry, we don't sponsor international students. And when I hear that they don't sponsor international students, I would be like, I don't need any sponsorship for summer. So if you can still consider me for just the summer internship, but they wouldn't. So that's also one thing that I don't understand that why not. So.
Okay. All right. A lot of rejection, it seems like, huh? Not something that's pleasing. But anyway, so I know this is one of the most common issues a lot of students faced. Even I did in my initial years. And then, in fact, I even had a word from my seniors as to like, hey, don't rely much on the career fairs at all. Like nothing happens, nothing comes out of it. And I don't know why I usually tend to flow with what people tell me. I'm easy to get influenced and manipulated. But again, at that instance, probably I just like, was so much under pressure of like, wanting to find an opportunity to start working here in the US that I tried all ways whatsoever. And I think career fairs turned out to be the best option for me thus far. I worked as an intern when I was in Arizona for almost a year with a mechanical subcontracting company, which I found through my career fair. And then for my full time opportunities, for the three offers I had, two of them were from the career fairs. And the company that I chose to work right now, I found it through Handshake. But just coming to the current approaches, what are the usual approaches? What students, tell me and correct me if I'm wrong, or if there's anything that you want to add to it, please feel free to. But usually on the career fairs, we try to dress nice, have our resumes, go on each of those desks. Pretty much we visit all the career fairs because as internationals, we are trying to find that first opportunity to find something to click on. And then what happens is we try recite and explain ourselves to each and everyone, hand our resumes. Some asks you to just go online and apply. Is that a common experience you've had? Just go online,
Yes.
we have these positions, please apply on this. And sometimes it's like, hey, there's a lot of free stuff on our booth, feel free to take it. And then they give all the pleasant smiles as much as they could in that day. And there were a few instances where me and my roommate Devansh, we laughed, like not laughed, but we kind of giggled a little when our juniors came in and they were attending all these career fairs. And one guy was literally coming to me and said, like, that recruiter gave me the biggest Cadbury on his booth. That means like probably think he's happy with me, but that's all false. You can't really conclude anything on what they give or how they smile as to how much they like you at that instance. And then there are different kinds of people who are at the career fair. Sometimes it's just the HR, sometimes it's the HR with the specialist, Sometimes you have a project manager or a superintendent working with that company, attending the career fairs. So one thing to understand here is there are different kinds of people you're dealing with, and they have different approaches towards looking at you. For an HR who's a non-technical guy who doesn't know a lot about construction would look qualities like, if you're willing to learn, if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to absorb or like be like a sponge to do whatever it takes to kind of learn the job. They try to look for qualities like, your academic records, just basic ones, and then your promptness, and they may ask you questions about sharing experiences where you have leadership experience and things like that. So they try to judge you based on like basic qualities. But if there are project managers and superintendents who are at the interview, they would try testing some of your technical skills. So what you want to do is mention your technical knowledge and your skill set in an elevator pitch. So that's the first step. And I'm going to share my screen here with you real quick just to kind of focus on those parameters that I'm trying to talk. I don't know if this helps, but I might try. Muted myself. So, three things I tried in my experience to approach to career fairs. And I mean, it worked for me, I guess. That's what I'd say. And then I'm not saying like this is a certified way to get jobs, but this is one way that I was guided
One way.
by one of the mentors. I was fortunate, and that lady Sylvia, I still like owe her all the job success, or like finding the recruiting process success to her, just because she guided me so well. She was in the American culture for lifetime. I mean, she's an American, so she helped me understand the American culture and the eyesights of how people look at you if there are people you're dealing with from this country. So the first thing I would say is like you would need to have like a basic elevator pitch, and this is something pretty much you will learn. And it's not essentially like a recitation, but eventually keep on practicing, you learn it, and that should be your first approach step towards, or I wouldn't say it should be yours, but this was my first way to approach that. I was guided by Sylvia. A short introduction about myself, then I share my experiences real quick without taking a pause. Then I talk about my projects in general and my responsibilities, the opportunities that I'm seeking, and the questions I had for them. And the questions is something I would wait on, but opportunities you're seeking would be the conclusion of your pitch. Just to give you an
Right.
example, you know, I would go out there and say like, hi, let me introduce myself. Here's my resume. But my name is Aditya, and I have I was pursuing my bachelor's in civil engineering when I was back in India. I have a bachelor's in civil engineering, and in my senior year, I came across construction management, which intrigued my interest towards wanting to pursue more of the management aspect of the construction industry. I was thankfully admitted to ESU. That's where I got to study my master's, or still am pursuing my master's in construction management. I fortunately also got an opportunity to work with TD Industries, who is a mechanical subcontracting company. With them, I'm currently working as a field engineer intern. With them, I've worked on several projects. One first project I worked with as a productivity intern was pretty much the ASU Hayden Library. It was a $3 million project where my role as a productivity intern, firstly, let me be honest, it was just getting acquainted with the American culture of work, just because I'm coming from an international culture, which is a little different, if not a lot. And then, secondly, as a productivity intern, I was primarily responsible to understand the trades the company works in, which was piping, plumbing, and sheet metal. And once I kind of started understanding and learning the process, I was then responsible for tracking the productivity on a couple of jobs. And that productivity tracking was done using a simple spreadsheet where I had the budgeted man hours, the budget, and the activities and the hours that we spend in doing certain activities, trying to do a cost analysis. If we are trying just to make an analysis at the end of the day, that if we spent the budgeted man hours in performing that, or did we lose money on that activity, or did we make money, and reporting it to the project crew. I think that was exclusive experience I had on the first job, trying to learn more of the processes that are involved in the process in the construction of mechanical subcontracting business. And then later on, I was promoted to being a field
Right.
engineer intern, and I worked on another job, which was a Hilton Canopy Hotel. It was a $7 million contract for us. In that, I was responsible for some additional responsibilities, some of which would be managing the submittal processes, dealing with vendors about solicitation, assisting the project manager with the daily cost analysis, recording as-built drawings using Primavera, using Plan Grid, producing a 3 week outlook. And these are the summaries of some of the certain responsibilities I performed in there. And with that being said, your company is something that works in heavy civil construction. I was looking at your website and I did get a chance to read about some projects on there, and a couple of them, especially the project that you did at Wasatch Front, had some innovative value engineering that really intrigued me and wanting to come and talk to you today here at the table. Um, and In fact, I even looked at your webs on your website for certain open positions, and I could not find any. In fact, I find a couple of positions that I've already applied to, and here is the student ID code or whatever the application code that I had for the application. And the reason I just wanted to hand you a manual copy of my resume was just because you'd know that I spoke to you on the table today. Again, like, I'm really interested in like kind of presenting myself. I'm open to learning at this point, like I said, and I'm guessing any opportunity with your company would be really nice. And that's where I would end my elevator speech, and then I'll let them talk, and how, let it go the natural way. And then at the end of the day, if they did not bring up, I would always say I had a couple of questions, if you don't mind me asking. And the questions are: what are the qualities that you're looking in the potential intern role, and what would you guys expect me? Which project would you be planning on having the role that you're trying to hire work on? What kind of responsibilities do you think those candidates would have to go through? And what are the qualities you're looking in the potential candidate that you're trying to hire? I think these questions would just like, give a more holistic approach on what you're trying to say. So that's part one. Do you have any questions on that?
Yes, so I have tried, asking them questions regarding this, but they are never really available to talk over a call. So I usually put it down on an email and then I never get answered.
Okay.
So even today, when I call the companies so now I have started to call the company and directly, ask them, see, I'm still looking for opportunity for the summer, and I haven't heard back. So I would like to talk to this person who I met in the career fair earlier. So
Mhm.
they would literally send me over to their voicemail. So there's no way to actually reach out to them unless I actually meet them in person now. That's what I think.
Yeah, and this was an approach moreover for the career fair per se, and not like something that you're doing posted. And
Mhm.
then I don't know if there's any career fair coming up anytime
Mhm.
soon.
No, I
No,
don't
okay.
think there's
But then
anything.
another thing I know, and this is more of a career fair, and then we would reach out to other ways we can think of in trying to get hold of.
Yeah.
Like one more thing, in addition to a little prerequisite research that I did for career fairs, which helped me a bunch, and which could help out all the new students as well who are wanting to like um, try to approach the career fairs. Is Let me see, let me pull this up real quick. So this was another approach that I was advised for, which worked wonders for me. Is I would take the list of companies and I would create a draft template for myself, just to like, I have a reference when you're approaching like 20 companies in a day. It's like a lot overwhelming and like remembering. So what I would do is I would just make a small, simple template which had a name, the values that they share, so that I stick to talking about more of the values in my conversations or my pitch with them.
Mhm.
The awards that they recently received, so that I acknowledge reading or talking to more about, like, for example, safety. If they get an award in
Mhm.
safety, that tells the safety culture of the company, which is something that the company knows, or the people who are looking at you would know that you have done a little analysis on. So that's good. And then I would always list this down: current openings, because I know that annoying statement coming like, go apply online. So I don't want to give them that chance. So what I would do is I visited online. I tried applying all the positions that I applied. Here are the positions that I applied, which I felt were appropriate for me. But there are no other entry level positions. Internship level was posted, and I've already applied to these two positions and things like that. I've already
Right.
spoken to them about them, right?
Right.
And then I would talk to them about a couple of projects and what are the key points on those projects that really made me read about that project. And that's something, just 2 points, so that you have a reference to talk to them about. And I would hold this paper in front of them. In fact, I would even share one copy with them if they wanted to. So, like, this was the little research I did on your company, which tells that you're doing something more than other students are. And then once you talk about the projects, I would sometimes even talk about the recent reviews. Like, they have a news column, most of the companies do. And usually they do like all the charitable donations, or this project managed doing this in this much time. And this project made that many dollar amounts because of the value engineering it was implementing and things like that. So that could be another filler topic that you can talk and extend your communication with the employer. And then at the end of your elevator pitch, would also want to mention about why do you want to be a part of that company. And most of the times it has to be something. For me, it was always that I got to learn something from that company. If it worked in the heavy civil, I wanted to understand the paving world. So I said, I'm really curious in wanting to build roads, and that person whom I'm talking with, he's a paving superintendent, would help me a bunch in understanding how the paving industry works here. Plus, I'm interested to know how which department, how do you apply value engineering, how do you apply lean processes to make your product more efficient energy wise, things like that. And then usually Mike Matthew Iker also shares with you like the person who are going to come. So a day before that, I would make sure I send them a LinkedIn request and a note, and type a thing saying like, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, here's my resume for a reference. And then I would note down a few points about them. Like, for example, Michael Morse, he was a relation head, worked with the company for 5 years. He comes from North Illinois University. Have some awards in career approaches and things like that. Just so that, they know that you have done a research about them.
Right.
This thing really helped me a lot. I think because of this, I usually spent my time the most at a career fair. And I remember funny instances where one of my friend did like just wait for me at the back and was like, what are you guys talking so much and things like that. But this really helped me a bunch, honestly, to strike a conversation with them for longer periods. So moving forward, like, I can keep this in mind and I can share these templates if you'd like. But
Yes, please.
um, this is something that really I did this for all the companies that came in. So
Yeah.
pretty much, so that helped me a bunch. I spent a lot of time on this, but I think this really helped me a lot. And then now let's try addressing your question, I guess. I think which was now you're in a position where the career fair is done, and then you're trying to find an opportunity, and then the only actual way you can think of right now is just making online applications, right? Have you been attending all the courses, or like the ASU clubs, the student chapter
Yes, as
clubs?
many as I can.
I know I got a few notifications the other day when, like, they were inviting a few companies. I think AECOM and which was the other company that just
You're talking about the roundtable discussion, right?
the roundtable
Where,
discussion, and then I think
yes,
CMA as well. One of my,
yes,
I don't know if you know him, Raj Patil. He studies.
you aren't audible.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So in fact, one of my friend, very close friend, he's pursuing construction management at ASU right now. His name is Raj Patil.
Oh, okay.
And then he just sent me a picture, like, he had a site visit like a couple of days back or
Yes,
something.
yesterday itself.
Yesterday, yeah, right. So,
Yes.
I think those things would definitely really help a bunch. And then, of course, it's about reaching out to people on LinkedIn who are already working. Like, necessarily doesn't have to be HR. I'm pretty sure you must
Right.
have tried that. But you can just slide
Yeah.
along your resume and that well drafted message to all the people who are working, like project engineers, project managers, and like, would you ask them to slide this to the HR? I'm really cute, wanting to, hey, like, study and work. So basically,
Right.
that is one another way. One recent way I heard that one of my friend here works on a really managerial position, and people have started going to the extent where they would send donut boxes to the HR with a resume stuck on it, and that's that's not an inappropriate way, I'd say. It's okay to do that, as far as you're like not, you're not bribing them, you're just kind of wanting to make yourself notice. And if you want to do, trying to just send your resume to that with a note saying like, hi, you would really like to reach out and show your profile, that is one of the ways I would definitely buy. And I've seen the HRs being impressed with it too, And there are all kinds of weird ways that you have to work on right now, and just be fearlessly applying irrespective of not getting any results. It could be discouraging, but only one has to click right now, and there is that one opportunity hiding somewhere behind all these efforts. You can visit the offices pretty much. I know a friend of mine who literally visited the offices, scheduled appointments with the people. And I know sometimes it feels so unrealistic to do all this, and like it takes a lot of guts, makes you nervous at points to even try doing some things like that. But these are approaches. You're not begging for a job. You're a professional. You have a master's degree. You are someone, a very eligible candidate for the position. And there is nothing of these should ever, stop. You're not begging for a job. You're just trying different ways to show the company that you're really passionate about the position that they're applying to. And then these things would help. You can just, if you're, let's say if you're going to Sun's office, you can do a research on them and just say, hey, I was just kind of digging through. I just wanted to come by and pass my resume to you guys. I don't want to take much of your time, but here's my resume. Here's a little research I was doing about you. Here's a link for my LinkedIn profile. I would really appreciate if I could get an email from your HR or get an email address. If I can, firstly, you ask them if you can meet them. If they say no, can I have their email address? And then the third way is like, just leaving your resume at the desk, even if they say no to both. That's one way I would try, definitely. If out, it's certainly something that's out of the box, but it is something worth trying. You get those e-bikes, just ride on them, go to the offices. Most of the offices are pretty close to Tempe. Sun's office is close, Wilming's office is closed. And then reach out to the people, just tell them, hey, I was thinking of just passing by. Just do whatever you can to network at this point. But keep your, try using Handshake. Have you used Handshake before?
Yeah, but I haven't been using a lot of it. I, because people don't respond, I guess, over there.
I think Handshake is if you haven't used, maybe you should, because this is way different.
Okay.
This is, so Handshake's primarily just for students. You look at the first thing that you see, is just for students here itself.
Yes.
So here, most of the recruiters are just trying to hire students who are coming fresh out of college. So let's say, let me log in mine just to show you an example. I don't know if I can do it anymore. I hope so. I should be able to. So Arizona State University, click here to log in. That's my email address and password. That's the stupid login. Okay, that's gonna take me in. I think you should definitely, if you haven't done Handshake yet, that's one thing.
So I do apply through Handshake. I do, but I haven't sent any mails through Handshake, I guess. I mean, messages or something. Maybe 2 or 3, but then I didn't get a positive response from those. So I like maybe they won't. So
You gotta keep on
try
trying,
connecting
Aashal,
them over LinkedIn.
I think this helps me a bunch. I think all the jobs that all the jobs that I would go through, there I would find so many opportunities. And this even gives you, even if you don't find a reference, just apply to that and go to that company and talk to them, right? Like, hey, this is what this gives the list of companies that you can go on the e-bike and talk to, right? So
Yes.
see, all these are entry level positions you would see. So now this is key with, and then let's do internships and see how many internship opportunities are there right now as of this moment. So see, these are not just in Arizona, but elsewhere too. So Houston.
Yes.
And then let me try a location. Let's see, Hayden is a big group. I know Hayden Construction is a big group.
Yes.
Looking for a field engineer intern, role description, people you can connect with.
Yes. Right.
US work authorization. So it's just basically your I-20 and EAD. I don't think that's going to be an issue with H-1B. And if it is what it is. We can't really do anything.
Yeah.
Max Shane, I remember speaking to this
Sure.
company. It's a great company. You can talk to these guys here. See, there's an Indian guy working here right away. So it's like it's hiring internationals. Um, and then so now it's showing me a bunch of true sale. This is another opportunity. I think I don't know if you have applied to all these jobs, but this is a great. I know this helped me a bunch. See key within. No, this
Yeah,
is
I have done I mean, I have applied to a few of these, not all of these that I'm seeing right now, but yeah, maybe I'll try doing Handshake more.
Bilming. This is a company that hires so many Indians I know of.
I know too many.
Connect with them. I think that's going to be really, really handy at this point. And again, I know at the end of the day, it's a lot of work, but it is worth trying. And
Yeah.
it happened to me the time when I was least expecting it, and I'm pretty sure that would happen to you when you're least expecting it. Demoralizing sometimes, when you don't get an opportunity. But again, it's not the end of the world. It's keep on trying, and this experience is going to count a bunch later. Once you get a job, you'd be really happy once you have a job, and you'd be feel like, oh, it was all worth the efforts. When I was doing all this, I was like, I remember I used to sit in Memorial Union while I drafted that stuff in Spark Easton, and buying a Starbucks there was like very expensive for me. I had dual thoughts, and I was like, maybe it's worth someday. I used to still buy it. Mostly, I used to, this is off the record, but I had a shirt from one of the dinings that I would
Ah,
keep handy with me. I would go change
yes.
it, and I'd say,
So that you can, yeah,
I've literally gone to that extent. This is not ideal, and I should
yes.
not be speaking about it. But just to, like, help myself be in areas like where students are working helps me focus a lot more than being home or sitting, with around roommates and things like that. So if you plan your day, keep on like aggressively giving some time to LinkedIn connections, then Handshake applications, and sometimes to go into the offices and talking with them. That'd be awesome. And then you're already attending a lot of those club events. I think that's really nice.
Yes.
Keep your resume handy with you all the time. Just so in any of your class you happen to come across, talk to your professors too about it. Talk to your professors to know if there is any company
Okay.
in their association that they're aware of that could
Hmm.
because I know there was a marketing class, and that professor helped a lot of students in reaching out to
Yes.
McCarthy when I was a student back then. But at the end of the day, know that there are 100% people I've seen in my acquaintance and professional network who've got a job. So I won't worry about it at this point. I mean, if it's something that you're not just getting, it's not just happening right now, but it's going to happen. So all the
Happens
best.
soon.
Anything else you
Yes.
have in particular? Do you think this was helpful?
No, nothing in particular. But yeah, I just wanted to know what other ways I could, probably reach out to people, what approach maybe I should have changed or I should change now, considering I don't have a lot of time for the summer to land a summer internship. So yeah.
And then even like it's just an internship. Even let's say worst case you don't land up with one, you can work part time 40 hours, so you're doing well financially. But again, you can still keep on applying for co-op positions, and
Right.
then that'll be the same route, pretty much the same route. You'll still
Yes.
keep on talking.
Yes. Yeah.
Just talk. I mean, I think I realized it pretty late, but talking with your HRs or people around who work professionally shouldn't have been that intimidating, which I was frightened when I
Hmm.
spoke initially. Sometimes I stammered literally when I was speaking in the middle of it. But now that I've been here for 5 years, I think one of the things that I've really appreciated about America is like people here are willing to give you opportunities. It's up to you. If you get
Right.
that, how hard you want to work on opportunities. And once you get it, you get into the organization. There are ample of knowledge and people you learn things from, and then you escalate like quick. All right, if that's all what you have, I'd say all the best. Good luck,
Right.
and
All
if you
right.
have any other questions, just stay in touch, and we can
Yes,
talk
I
about it.
definitely will. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good day.